Song, so I wanted to talk about this episode, Treehouse of Horror episode, because of all the numerology. If you, this is an important episode, then the code is very interesting, probably predictive, and I talk about in the intro why I'd like to take the time to talk about this. Oh, oops, sorry about that. Okay, microphone problems. So here at 903, please see the intro for this section about why I'm taking the time for this, The Simpsons, and the symbolism here, because there are compelling numbers that make it look like this is worth taking a look at. So here at 903, which would be the 930 date equivalent, and it has a Hoover Dam tie-in, which if you convert that to the to October, it places it at let's see, I think it's the 13th of October would be the equivalent of 930, which is the Hoover Dam equivalent. Well, anyway, this is the beginning of the site of these aliens, and so this has to do with Rapture. This has to do with all the Rapture ideas that people have been talking about, and the false alien invasion, and we're going to take a look because there might be some codes in here that you'd like to be aware of. Now, the sky is purple here. That's the sign of royalty. That's the sign of the reptilians, basically. It's the integration of the blue and the red. Okay, so let me find the right moment here. This is the 96 gateway number, and this is an interesting number because it has to do with some of these 96 numbers. 69. I think it's nuclear war is the number that has to do with October 1st. Yeah, I think that's the tie-in for that. And I found out that, let me see if I can. Yeah, this is the 116 tie-in. It also has to do with this episode because the title of this episode is Treehouse of Horror, and then the subtitle is Bad Dream House, and both of those have this. They both equal this in the nuclear gematria, in the simple gematria. So then that means that these 6 9s and 9 6s are going to be important symbolism, and also the 13s and the 3s and the 33s. And I've seen that a lot. So that's the tie-in here now. I've mentioned in a few of these, and I'll mention again that Zach found out about the date conversions between 9/11 and 10/06, which makes all of the 106 numbers make sense. Well, he also found out that on 10/6/1961 that JFK warned us to have bomb shelters for in the case of nuclear war. So I looked up bomb shelter, and it also has a 9/11 in it, and it has a 9/23. So I think this is very important. So this episode that we're looking at has a lot of these 116 numbers, which is basically, let me go back to this number, it's basically 9/11 upside down. Well, this moment right here, this is the 906 gateway moment, and this is basically right before the whole family gets abducted. So let's take a look at this, or Rapture, depending on how you want to see it. I'm going to look up the word Rapture for you too. Here, hold on. Okay, well, just something to mention. I just did an episode on this Simpsons episode about the Rigelian Connection and lots of things having to do with that in New York City, basically. And I brought up the Hudson having to do with the George Washington Bridge and different connections with that having to do with, sorry, I know I say that a lot, October 1st and the shooting in Oregon. Well, then I scroll down and I see that Hudson equals bomb shelter in the Jewish gematria. So, and that also equals 923. So we need to keep that in mind. There's a lot of movies about havoc breaking out in the eastern part of the U.S. So also over here there's an 86. There were so many 86 numbers. Just this whole summer has been filled with 86 numbers, and I feel like it's shorthand for the Bride of Christ. And then this is a 99 number. The Pope has basically cloaked himself in 99 numbers, and I thought that they were trying to say that they were holy, like 9 is the top of the, you know, it's the top of the counting before you go back to 0, you know, or 1. If you take the digital route, it's the height of it. But so you want to think of that as, but what I think it really is, you know, my theories do evolve because I'm learning as we go along. So I had thought that 6 to 9 was a dimensional shift, and it could be a dimensional shift, but I think we also need to think about that it is the height of ego, and it's the height of hierarchy. It's the idea of hierarchy. So we have to keep that in mind. And so when the Pope cloaks himself in that number, and it does have to do with the Hudson here, where to go, the Hudson? All right, well, it's here. Anyway, the Hudson has 81 in its simple gematria, and that is a 99 number. So that would be a hierarchy number, a high up hierarchy number. So this moment was marked, it's a 9/11 moment, and it was marked because Maggie just fell down and then got up again. So that made a little timestamp on this moment where they're all staring here at the ship getting ready to be abducted. At this moment, Homer looks up and he says, "Holy moly," after he tells them that their burgers are getting cold. Okay, so a quick look at holy moly. Here, I guess this would be like a 9:15. So that date, I'm trying to think if that date would have elapsed already. I think it has. Yes, that date would already be gone, even in the October conversion. These dates right here, this is a 3 times 25, so that's a trinity of pies. And this is a pentacle of pies. So that's, I think that's the meaning there of holy moly. Let's look at Rapture. Okay, so here's the numbers of Rapture. In the Jewish gematria, it matches Planet X, Poltergeist. There was a poltergeist in this in this episode that threw a book. It threw a book at Lisa right on the 223 mark, which is the Synagogue of Satan, I think, number. So we've covered this before, but in the simple and English gematria, it matches Nero, Caesar, Jupiter, Rapture, 13, Michelle Obama, Albert Pike, all important concepts, Judgment. So that kind of fits in with the Rapture idea. Cheshire Cat, I haven't given you this video yet. I made a video about Alice in Wonderland and the Cheshire Cat, and how the Cheshire Cat turns into the moon, and but I kind of give it to you in a nutshell in terms of the fight between the red and the white, which is 9 and 11. So it does, Rapture does match Ascension. So that's good to keep in mind. I know that some Christians are probably upset about that the rapture didn't happen. And I have no idea whether that's a valid concept or not because of the distortion in the Bible as written by the Vatican Church. You know, who knows? I do think that people can disappear. I've seen insects disappear. And I feel that they're doing dimensional travel. They're moving from one dimension to the next. So the disappearing of, you know, and people have reported that. They've reported that Joshua appeared before them, or different yogis, you know, in India appear and disappear. I don't think that that's impossible, and I think there are people who can translate dimension. One of my pet wild theories is that humans, it was one of our natural abilities to translate dimension back before we were engineered. And also we were polluted with metal. I believe that we were taught, first of all, to covet and then to wear jewelry, and then we accepted eventually living in houses that had metal in them and wearing metal on our bodies. We were tricked into wearing metal. And if you don't wear metal or have metal in your body or metal in your house, you do not know what your powers would be. And this goes back to my argument of all science is ridiculously conditional because most of it is done in metal buildings. At least all modern science is done in metal buildings and having interrupting magnetic fields. And you cannot see what's really going to happen when you have metal around. And it seems like everybody's blind to this. Well, metal has been with us for a long, long time, but your clue that metal is not, like a kryptonite to humans, is that there are some temples that were built in which metal was not allowed on the building site. I think Solomon's Temple was one of these. But that is your clue that metal is a kryptonite. So they wanted to keep metal around at all times because they didn't want people to notice other people disappearing. And you can do this kind of thing. I think that I have shifted dimensions, not on purpose, but I've had a few near close call accidents, head-on collision type of things, where we survived and we went through this oncoming bus. And I don't know what that would have looked like to the other people. I don't know what that would have looked like, but to us, it looked like we phased. It looked like the bus, and like both the bus and our car and us phased. So what happened was I was driving up a blind corner with a curve, and it was uphill, and the bus was coming over half of its lane, and there wasn't any room to get over, because there were parked cars on the other side. So I got over as far as I could, but it's like 7 inches. It's not a lot. And the bus was over half into my lane. And I had basically 6 or 7 feet, or maybe yards. I can't remember how much reaction time I had. I had enough time to get over it. I was very calm, stayed very calm, to get over as much as I could. And then time slowed down, and it was almost like Harry Potter. We squeezed a little bit narrower, but still we did not squeeze narrow enough to get around the bus. We actually overlapped the bus. The bus overlapped us, and time stayed slow while we were mixed together with the bus. And then we came out the other side, and I knew that I am protected. I knew, either my or maybe I'm just protected because my children are protected. But that's happened to us before, where we have phased, and we have had our lives saved by phasing. So this whole rapture idea, we cannot say that this is wrong. Now, what if we cannot say it's wrong, we cannot say it's right. I just feel like we need to approach everything with humility, and that will be our wisest stance as humans. I cannot say what exactly happened to me. However, I don't think that I'm special, that the universe wants me to live more than other people, although I keep getting saved all the time. But I think the reason why I get saved is because I say to the mountain, move, and during that moment of having the bus, seeing the bus, I did not accept it. I didn't go into fear. I went into determination to get around it, and we did get around it. So in some sense, I said to the mountain, move, and possibly that happened due to a phase shift. It really looked like a phase shift from my point of view. I wish I could ask someone else what they saw. My kids were with me, and they were older, and they, at the time, normally they don't agree with a lot of the weird stuff I say, but they did say, I said, did you guys see that? And they said, yeah. And I said, did you see us overlap with that bus? And they said, yes. And I was like, I'm glad I'm not the only one who saw this. We overlapped with that bus. And they were like, they said, yep. And they were stunned. It's hard to find at what moment when teenagers don't have anything to say. They were younger teenagers then. It was just a few years ago. Now, so why would that be different than, say, we face a global crisis on the planet, and everyone who has love in their heart and trusts in their ability to say to the mountain, move, that they just phase, they just shift. Why could that not happen? Now, another explanation, I have a timeline video on my unlisted blog, and you can see that if you like by telling me in the comments that you'd like to see it, and sending me by my email. Don't put your email in the comments. Sending me by my email your email, and then I'll invite you. Please log in so that you can stay logged in there. There's a timeline video there where I discuss how people are straddling many timelines at once, and not only straddling them but moving timelines based on their choices, and how this could explain a rapture idea. So my love goes out to any Christians who are feeling disappointed that they didn't rapture, and I just say to you that be comforted. Your religion has put some fear into you, but you are a divine child, you are loved. It doesn't matter if you are confused about your religion, or it doesn't matter if, you know, just all those things don't matter, because you're not going to be blamed for the confusion. So just to hold on to what is right, what is good, the love, the kingdom of God within you, and don't be disappointed. Just trust. Okay? So I love you guys. Let's see, did I look at, I think this is, I finished looking at Rapture. Let's see, make sure my little speech right there. Yeah. Let's go back to the Simpsons here. Hold on. Okay, so here we are. Actually, I went over to this, I'm trying to like not have my microphone make that sound. I went over to this Gematria page for Hungry Are the Damned, because that's the name of this segment where the family is abducted. And then they're fed and fattened up, and then it really looks like they're going to be eaten, but then it turns out to be, oh, it's all a big misunderstanding, but it's still kind of suspicious. So anyway, Hungry Are the Damned has a 911 in it, and a 1011, and it has a 101 gateway, which is also kind of like a 109 gateway, which is basically a 106 upside down. So there's a, you can see that there's a few dates in here. So here, okay. So here's the 918 moment. It just kind of shows the ship in all of its glory. There is geometry here. Looks like a 4 and an 8, which is Obama number, and 8-4 has to do, it's more than Obama, but Obama's definitely tied in, and the Vatican's tied in with his 4 and 8 numbers. And then it looks like every 8 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 associated with it. So that would be the 40, having to do with us. So I don't know, it's hard to, you know, specify the geometry when I can't see the whole thing. So Lisa is the first to beam up, and she beams up at 9:22. See? So that would be August 5th on the new on the conversion, the Julian Gregorian conversion that we figured out. Well, also this is an orange beam. Let's just take a look at that. Okay, so it's just another 4, 8, and 6 tie-in, and another double 9, having to do with hierarchies, I guess. Okay, next. Next, let's see who else is going to be beamed up here. There goes Bart. He's on 9:23. That's October 6th. Maggie and the two ladies, the final two ladies, on the 24th, which would be October 7th. No, yeah, 7th. That's kind of funny. So they need 2 beams to get him out. So Maggie and her mom were taken up at 9:25, which is the pi number, 25, right? So they were both, you know, the most innocent and the most Q, or powerful, which is Marge, the most aware. She would be the most aware. Now here, Homer's struggling here, and we could see that we're on the 911 mark. They put the second beam onto him at 9:32, which is another 9:23 reference, having to do with October 6th. And he boards the ship at 9:36, which is the Tesla number. 3, 6, and 9. Secret of the universe. The ship closes up and takes off at 9:38, which is another 911 number. The ship flies up and it holds at 9:40 so that you can see that it's pausing, almost as if for a picture, to hold the 40-second clear. And then it takes off and disappears at 9:44, so that you can have the 44 moments. You know, the clock and the kill, and, you know, Net Not Yahoo recently had silence for 44 seconds, and that's the 44 moment of disappearing. And here is the agent moment. So this is going to be our final moment. The next section has to do with how similar Rigel is to English, and so this video needs to come up right before, or at least I'll try to order them. I'll try to order them according to their timestamp. All right, love you guys. Talk to you later.